Hey everyone, I'm the Idea Maker, and today I'm going to be giving you my official non-spoiler review on the brand new installment in the Karate Kid film franchise, which is Karate Kid Legends. So, this was honestly an absolute blast. I had so much fun with this movie. I honestly had a little bit of a downer of a day the previous, before I went in to go see this movie with my mom, and I remember watching The Karate Kid as a kid. I started growing up watching it as when I was around 10 years old, and I remember watching the original one with Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso, and it was honestly one of the best 80s movies I've ever seen in my life. I was so inspired by it that I wanted to do more with the Karate Kid. I wanted to see more with the Karate Kid. I actually took karate myself for a little bit, but I ended up quitting because I just hated when people shout and yell. Look, I was a kid back then. Would I do it now? I probably would, but I definitely need to work out better before I even go and do so. But honestly, the Karate Kids Legends is such a great movie. It's such a nice it's a nice culmination of everything that we've gotten from the Karate Kid. From the original movies to the one with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith. And I feel like this movie really does a great job with not only tying them together, but it also does an impossible feature to where it takes the step of faith to being able to welcome somebody brand new. And as soon as I saw, our brand new star, become the next Karate Kid, I instantly thought, you know what, this is going to be a good movie. The film opens up in a great nostalgic way, to the point that it makes the rest of the movie feel like not only just a nostalgia trip, but it also feels like a nice summer movie. That it's a feel good movie to a point. It's a dramatic movie to a point. It is one of the best things I have ever seen for the summer. Summer starting out really, really great. Lilo and Stitch was one of my favorites out of 2025's summer lineup. And so far, I have seen three of them. I still need to watch Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, but I'm going to go on Father's Day for that one. But out of the three so far that I've seen, Thunderbolts, Lilo and Stitch, and The Karate Kid Legends, I think that this one is it's really out there. For me, ranking it within the franchise, because I've only seen the original one and the one with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan, and this one. To me, this one actually is as good as the original, in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to go and start hyping it up, saying, this beats the original. No, 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 no. This one is as good as the original. In my personal opinion, I honestly love the fact that every single character here has their time to shine. They have their moments where you're rooting for all of the characters. It doesn't feel like the chemistry is fake. It feels genuine. It feels like they've gone to the point where they've hung out with each other even after filming. And they spend some time, going and having dinner, going to an arcade, hanging out. It feels realistic. It feels like these characters, like these actors, have actually formed a great friendship with each other. And I really, really would want for more of stories like this. I honestly feel like this brought back so many memories for me. It really, really did. And I think, in my opinion, I think the critics are wrong on this one. That it's a 53 out of 100, like it's a 55% or 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. I honestly disagree with them. I honestly found this to be a fun movie. I can't think of a single flaw in this movie. Look, it was fast paced, but I think it being fast paced was a good thing. I feel like, yeah, it could have been a little longer. It was only an hour and 34 minutes, which surprises me. But I honestly felt like this movie was just so much fun. I was rooting for our main character. Honestly, I'm gonna give shout outs, man. Ben Wang as Li Fang did so incredible. He did such an incredible job with this series, with this movie. I honestly didn't even know until now that he actually was in American Born Chinese. It's a show that I've been wanting to watch, and then Chang Can Dunk. I haven't seen that one. I do want to watch it. So I do want to see more of this kid. I want to see more. And I just found out he's 25. Born January 1st, 2000. He was born at the actual turn of the millennial and the century and the decade and the year. So he was also in Mean Girls. I didn't know about that. He's going to be in the upcoming Hunger Games movie. I'm excited to see him in the new Hunger Games movie. And I honestly really feel like Ben Wang did an incredible job with playing Li Fang. I think he brought this sense of feel. It's not replacing Daniel LaRusso or what was his name in the Karate Kid, Jaden Smith's character. I think it was Trey. I forgot what his last name was in that one. But it doesn't he doesn't do it to where it's replacing somebody. I think that, in my opinion, he's more adding to the legacy. He's more adding to what they helped build up. And I honestly feel like it's such a great way of building them up. It really, really is. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, Dre. Okay, I thought it was Trey for whatever reason. Because it seems like here that they retconned, like they retconned it. But you know what? I can kind of not take it as a retcon, but more like, he had another student. We just haven't heard from him again. And I honestly feel like you don't really need to watch that movie, in my opinion, to get this one. I think the only movie you would have to watch would be the first one, the original one from the 1980s. I also think that if you do want to watch the second and the third one with Ralph Macchio as well, I think it would be a great idea. I never saw those ones. I think when I do a revisited reaction to the Karate Kid Legends, I think I'm going to revisit the original Karate Kid. I'll be reacting to the others as well, and I think I might get into Cobra Kai just in case if they had tied in some of it with it. But honestly, the Karate Kids Legends is one of my all-time favorite summer movies this year so far. I place Thunderbolts first, and then I place Karate Kid in second, and I place Lilo and Stitch in third. Just because I feel like Thunderbolts really spoke to me more. And then I feel like with Karate Kid Legends, I think that this one also has good messages on being able to pick yourself right back up when you feel like, life has been kicking you to the curb and you're trying to find a way to find your footing and to find your ground, but you, at points, don't feel like you are. I think that every single cast member did incredible. Ben Wang did incredible, but honestly, what impressed me even more was the chemistry that Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio had with each other in this movie. And I think, both of them as Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso, I think their chemistry really, really sells it for me. And I honestly feel like they don't have this rivalry with each other as they're trying to train Li Fang. But I think that it's more of that they're trying to be the two branches on one tree. And you actually see this amazing symbolism of how two sides of the same coin could be a beneficial thing for a person in bringing them up. I also think that they do a great job with not only keeping the integrity of the original Karate Kid intact, but also the legacy of Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi. And that with him, he was such an integral part of the Karate Kid and a main reason why people loved the Karate Kid as a movie and as a franchise. And I think that if it wasn't for Mr. Miyagi, I think that honestly, the Karate Kid wouldn't be the movie that it is. And honestly, Daniel LaRusso, was definitely the kid that needed the help that he needed and was trying to figure himself out during a situation to where, to a point where, it was him and his mom, because going to California because of the fact that they were like, they were starting a brand new life over there. And honestly, I think I really do feel like it is such a it feels like a great way of adding on to the legacy of the original. I think that honestly, seeing Ralph Macchio back as or Macchio, either one, I'm having a tough time with remembering. Oh, it is Macchio. Okay. Which for Ralph being 63, this man does not look 63 at all. He looks incredible for his age. He looks like he's in his 40s. This dude looks like he's in his 40s, and it keeps impressing me every single time. It is incredible. It is incredible. He, him being back as Daniel was incredible, because I grew up watching the original movie as a kid, and I never thought that he'd be in another movie after the third one. I was born in 2000, by the way, and I saw this movie when I was about, I think, 9 or 10 years old, I feel. And I remember watching it almost every single day because I loved the dynamic relationship that Daniel and Mr. Miyagi had. And I feel like with Li Fong, I think that him having this great relationship between, this relationship between himself and Mr. Han, and him and Daniel, I think they do, he does a great job with maintaining this friendship slash mentorship between sensei and student. And I think that all three of them really contribute to this movie, which is the reason why I moved my avatar over to the left of the screen, because I cannot block these guys at all during this whole entire review, because these guys are incredible and they deserve the spotlight that they were given. As for the other cast members, I'm gonna go down the list. Honestly, my favorites out of them all was definitely I loved Sadie Stanley as Mia. I thought her and Ben had this great chemistry as love interests, as friends, and they really hit it off. It did not feel like a forced relationship. It felt like a really beautifully woven and natural relationship between each other. I honestly think that it's honestly a great thing that these guys felt genuine. It felt real. And I love the fact that also actor Joshua Jackson, he did an incredible job at playing Mia's father, Victor. He actually has a really good few scenes with between him and Ben. And I think what's nice about it is that it feels like not only does the child actors have this good chemistry between themselves, but they have a really good chemistry between themselves and the adult actors. I think that they really hit it off very, very well. Actually, I shouldn't say child actors, because Ben does not look 25 and Sadie does not look 23. They don't look their age. They look younger. And I thought to myself, child actors. But these two do an incredible job at actually maintaining this relationship between themselves and their other actors. Honestly, it was one of the best things that I've ever seen in a modern movie to where the chemistry doesn't feel like, it was flawed, or it wasn't genuine. Because I've seen other action movies where I feel like they're stiff. Actors kind of feel like they look like they're stiff, like they don't want to be there, or they don't like the person. But everybody here looks like they love each other both on and off screen, and I think I think that they do a great job at maintaining this relationship between each other. And I honestly hope that more movies or more productions, when films go into productions, I hope that when they take casting choices into hand, I hope that they can use this as a lesson. Because sure, it's a sequel to something. It's a sequel to something, but I think that it would be nice for them to at least take the time to make sure that their actors have chemistry with each other. And I think what makes it better is the fact that the plot actually has multiple stories going on at the exact same time. And it doesn't feel like it's going to start off the way that you think. At first, I felt like it was a direct continuation from the Karate Kid movies from the 80s. Then I felt like it was a continuation of the 2010 Karate Kid movie. And then I felt like it was its own thing. And sometimes I felt the Cobra Kai atmosphere. Even though I haven't really watched the show, I have seen clips of it, and I do feel like it at times has that feeling of like, maybe this should have been a streaming movie. But I think it was the best way possible, because what it did right was that it basically went and took every little thing and tied it all together. And that's what this movie was. It was a culmination of everything. It was a little bit of everything that I feel like it was its own thing, while also maintaining the nostalgic feeling of the original Karate Kid, the feelings of when watching Cobra Kai, and the feelings when watching this nostalgic feelings from the 2010 Karate Kid standalone movie. And I don't consider it a remake; I just consider it a standalone. I also feel like actors Wyatt Olive and Ming Na Wen, especially Ming Na Wen, because I mean, it's Mulan, and she was also in Agents of Shield, and she was also in the Book of Boba Fett as Fennec. I mean, who doesn't love her? I mean, she's amazing. I mean, she's one of my favorite actors out there. And then Wyatt Olive from the It movies. I actually didn't even think it was him. He plays Li Fang's tutor. And honestly, at first I thought, I don't think I'm gonna like this character. He ended up growing on me as soon as there's a scene where they're trying to set it between Mia and Li Fang kind of together. And when the movie's trying to set them up, he's like his character Alan is more like a wingman in a great way possible. And I like the fact that these side characters did not feel like they're just there to be there. Like, every single one of them has an important role to play. I think that also with Ming Na Wen as Lee's mother, I think what makes it great is the fact that, she has this fear about what could happen to her son after the tragic loss of her older son. And I don't it's not a spoiler, because they talked about it in the trailers. And I think it's a good thing that they did talk about it, because there's a lot of conversations in this movie that you could have about what to do when going through one thing of trauma back in your early times, and then next thing you know, that trauma is going to be hitting again. How do you take that trauma, and how do you build on top of it instead of letting it crumble you down to a point? And I think that it does a great job with feeling like it's going in the direction that it needs to. There's a motive behind everything. This movie does have several story points, and there's several stories in it, like I mentioned before. And I think that it's great that it's a great thing that they do so. And it's honestly a great little motivation for Li Fang as a character, and also with his character development. I think that it does deal with the topic of death pretty well, to a point that it resonates. I remember sitting in the theaters, and I remember hearing some of my grandmother's words. I started tearing up because of the fact that, I felt like she was there. This was one of her favorite 80s movies, and I would have wanted for her to be there to see it, and I think she would have really loved it. My mom loved it. In our theater, there were actually people who were cheering during the fight scenes. They were rooting for Leaf, and I think that we were also clapping, we were cheering, we were, it wasn't that many people in our theater, but there were still people rooting for the good guys. And I think that that's what we're missing today, is that not enough people have this excitement for a movie these days. A lot of people, when they go into movies, when they see for a remake or for a continuation or a sequel, or even superhero movies, any movie in general, a lot of people like to nitpick. I think the problem that we have is that we listen too much to the critics, and we just let them help form our opinions. I think that with the Karate Kid Legends, I think this movie is a good example of, go see it to see for yourself on how incredible it is. I think that what it does correctly, and what I think that more movies should do, is that the movie doesn't give much away. Like, the trailers do not give much of the movie away, and I think it's important that they don't do so. Like how the Superman trailer doesn't give a lot away. You have an idea of what's going to happen, but you do not know what is going to happen at the exact same time. That's what I felt with the Karate Kid Legends. I think that they do an incredible job at making you feel like you don't really know what's happening, and then when you see it, it's like, okay, this is going to be new. What I like about it too is that even though that there's multiple storylines going on at the exact same time, it feels episodic. It feels like 4 episodes into one, or 3 episodes into one. It really feels like a 3-act movie, to where you're actually seeing it in a timeline where it makes a whole lot of sense. Like, there's this point to his low point, to a low point, to a high point, to a low point, and it gives you an up and down emotional roller coaster with no spins whatsoever. There's moments where you feel like you're gonna know exactly what's gonna happen beforehand, and honestly, I have no problem with that, because I wanted to feel like I know exactly where something's gonna be headed. And when I did figure those moments out, I was really happy about it, because I wanted to feel nostalgic again. I wanted to feel like a kid again. And I think that this is what this movie does really well, is that it makes you excited for the smaller things. And I think that when you get more excited for the smaller things and the bigger things, I think that that's what makes us be more grateful as human beings for the things that we get. And I'm glad that for a movie like this, we actually get something pretty exciting, pretty cool, and something that maybe you're not expecting, but you end up loving. This definitely is a movie where I don't actually see any flaws at all. I actually think that this was a movie that they did really well. They handled every single character very, very well. I think that they're I honestly, if I'm only gonna give one little bit of criticism, I think their villain character that they had, I wish it. Well, but then again, you know what? It's not really a criticism anymore, because I think that it was good that he was just a dude that had a relationship with Mia. Minor spoiler, but it's not something new. It kind of just feels like something from the original movie. And karate is what made him the jerk that he is, and he abuses the idea of karate into something different and something more extreme. And I think that it's important to recognize even the smallest of cliches. I think it goes a long way in a good run. And I honestly recommend this for those who love the Karate Kid franchise, for those who just want to go for a nice summer blockbuster movie. You know what? For this movie being PG-13, it was not that bad. It was actually a lot more tamer than I was expecting. I was expecting for it to be more violent, darker. The swearing wasn't as bad as I was expecting because even the original one had its moments of swearing. I think this one, honestly, this is a modern classic. This is going to become a modern classic, and I honestly love this movie. I think that if anything, well, I honestly want for this movie to be very successful at the box office. I think it will be. If this movie flops, I am gonna be mad because I think people do not give movies a chance anymore. They just let people make the opinions first, and then they form their opinions based off of other people's opinions, and they don't give it a shot. I want for people to give this movie a shot. Um, and you know what? If anyone in the cast and the crew of the Karate Kid Legends sees this video, I just want for you guys to know, and I'm looking straight directly at my camera for this, but I just want to let you guys know you made my mom and I happy with this movie, and honestly, I am definitely wanting to see this movie again. I want to be able to break down a lot more on this. I want to be able to talk about this more. I want to be able to get into full-fledged conversations about this movie because it's honestly one of my favorites of this year. And I honestly can't thank you guys enough for making an unforgettable experience, for getting an unforgettable movie. And I honestly am so happy on how you guys managed to create a culmination of everything into one and do it in a successful manner. You guys did incredible. Every single one of you guys did incredible. This is where I give a movie a 10 out of 10. Just for every single thing that's happened in this, and it actually doesn't feel boring. It feels so amazingly fresh. I want to see more movies be made like this. I want to see more movies that are made, like more original movies that are made like in a vein of this. Something exciting, something nostalgic feeling, but original. I want for people to at least give original movies more of a chance. There's nothing wrong with giving originality a chance. And I think that this movie is going to be that push to get people to watch it because it's such a different feel, but it's a same feeling at the exact same time. So I definitely recommend for you guys to go watch The Karate Kid Legends. If you guys want to get your tickets, I will be putting a link in the description for this movie. Sony, hopefully you get to see this because I think that you guys definitely deserve to hear how amazing that you guys did this, made this movie, and it's just been an incredible roller coaster. It's been an incredible time, and I think that everything that you did putting into this movie for the actors, for the writers, for the director, I just want to say you guys did amazing. And I hope maybe for another one, I hope that maybe we'll get more new characters. We'll get like a rematch between Li Feng and our antagonist characters, or maybe a new one. I think that you guys did incredible. You made my day, honestly, yesterday, and I'm so happy about it. And yeah, that's all I can be able to say about the Karate Kid Legends. If you guys want to see the spoiler review, wait till my revisited reaction comes out when I get this movie on streaming. I hope that you guys will be loving the review on it later on and the reaction to it later on when it hits streaming or when it hits digital, whatever comes first. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this non-spoiler review of it. If you guys want to see more reactions like this or more videos like this, then please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to follow me on any of my social media, I have got Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, aka X, my Discord server. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you all. Stay safe. I will see you on the next videos. And go check out the Karate Kid Legends in theaters now. Bye, guys.